I'm good. Nice to talk to a movie star. Wow.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. It's lovely to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. Is someone else joining us?
Yes, we have my producer Lucy. She should be here shortly.
Hey, hello, just Eva.
Oh,
This is
hey.
Ivy as well. I think she's
Nice to
on this
meet
one.
you.
Hello, nice to meet you as well.
Hello.
Hi.
This is Ivy. This is the
Hi.
lady who's been speaking to you and arranging everything for me.
Ah, lovely. Nice to meet you.
Been
Nice
a
to meet
legend. She's
you.
done more work than I have, and she's absolutely wonderful. Very organised. I'm sure you'll say the same about your producer. I don't know. We'll see.
Oh, definitely.
We'll see.
Yeah. Um, so yeah, I've definitely watched the film, obviously.
Good
I really
start.
liked it. Yeah, I really liked it. There's a lot. I've got a few questions, I suppose. I'll start with some basic sort of icebreakers just to start with, but I suppose for both of you really, when did you when did you know that you loved film? And then what did you do to get where you are today? Start with Fran if you like.
Sure, yeah. I kind of started my journey into like I guess the arts. So I'm an actor, obviously. Obviously, I'm in the film. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, I think acting is like my first passion. I love like realized that I loved acting when I was very young. I used to go to like drama classes at the weekend, things like that. I just loved like being imaginative and making things up and just playing. So ever since then, I've been doing it like whenever I get the chance to. And yeah, it wasn't until I started doing acting more professionally and more seriously that I then discovered my love for film and filmmaking. Obviously, I've always loved watching films, but yeah, it wasn't until I started kind of making my own work and writing my own shorts that I realized that this is something that I'm really passionate about. But yeah, I think the love definitely came from the acting side and then developed into this more like full, like well-rounded, just love for film in general. So yeah.
About you, Lucy.
Ah, God, I wish I had an as thoughtful answer, but I think I stole it from my older brother, you know. I think he loved films, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna copy your entire personality. We had a great TV growing up, and we would watch film. Honestly, I'm not joking. We would watch like three films a day growing up. So I didn't know like things existed outside films. I think like maybe when I started going to school, I was like, oh, like maths and science, like crazy. I didn't know that was a thing. I only knew films. And so it started very young for me. And it just grew with every kind of like important film I saw at each stage of my life. I just thought like, how the hell has someone created something so beautiful? Like I remember it's such like an obvious film to say now, but I watched like Shawshank Redemption on like my iPad or like even maybe like my iPod Touch, and I was like, oh, there's geniuses out there who are making things like this, and I can only hope to be like 1% of a genius who makes something like this in my own life. And so from that point on, really, I just knew that everything I ever wanted in life was to help make films. And I think that's why I'm a producer as well. Like, I just love like bringing people's ideas to life. I ain't got no ideas. I got nothing. I'm empty.
That's not true.
I'm empty.
But you've got to get everyone
uh,
else's ideas and putting them somewhere where they're supposed to be. Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, I love that part of it. So yeah.
Awesome. Um, yes, I was going to ask you, Fran, about obviously why did you play the lead? But I think you've kind of answered that because obviously acting probably came first. Did you write this with yourself in mind? Was there any ever an option where you'd be like, I'm going to cast somebody else?
Yeah, I definitely wrote it with me in mind. So I wrote my last film, Slay, as well. I also wrote with me in mind for one of the characters, and also two of my like best friends who are my friends in real life and also play my friends in the film. And for me, it was a really nice experience to write for people that I know because I can really feel them like slot into those characters. And it's the same for Alexa. I really felt myself um I mean, just I really connected with her as a character. So for me, it was like it was kind of natural writing it for myself. I didn't really have to try. I just knew that I would slot into that role really nicely. And it just felt really right. But yeah, as for the others, I didn't write with anyone in mind, the other characters. For them, it was purely just I was writing the characters. And then when it came to the casting process, that was really fun because it was my first time casting for roles that I hadn't already imagined as someone. So it was like that was a whole new thing, was experiencing the characters with actors that I've not seen before, and it was just a really great process.
Yeah, it was. It was good.
Yeah.
I
And
think.
if I could like
Sorry,
add
go on,
to that
Lucy.
as well,
Yeah.
I think it's quite like an inspiring thing to do because it shows like a real like a genuine love for the craft, but also two, just a genuine devotion to acting as well. If you can't find your own opportunities, you create them, which I think is something like really special that Fran's done throughout her career. It's an industry now where you have to be as bold and as creative, and as you have to be so much bigger than you ever thought was possible. So to create an entire film, multiple entire films, just to kind of progress your own journey and your friend's journey, I just think it's a real cool thing to be doing.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's one of the reasons we do the festival. But obviously, I am not a female, as you've probably gathered. But we still want to celebrate that, you know. And there's these stories, and I know a lot of filmmakers want to go on and do features, and some people are just experimenting. Some people don't know what they want to do. So all these stories, this is why I do this, for these conversations. This is probably sometimes better than watching the films themselves, you know, having these conversations. So what I got from the film really was, which I think you see quite a lot, and in a lot of sort of quirky films, very color balance was really good, very sort of quaint little setting, and the colors. But it's obviously the themes of loneliness as well in there. So I mean, how did you contrast that when you were creating this film? And how do you feel it's turned out?
Yeah, I'm really happy with how it's turned out, and it really means a lot to me that people did pick up on that because as much as I think it's a comedy, I also think that it's much more than that. God, you know what I mean? Like I think there are layers to it, and it's not just a straight comedy. That there's definitely those themes of like loneliness throughout, and I think that is it's interesting because I feel like a lot of it comes from the subtle moments. Obviously, the dream sequences have that like technicolor pop to them, but yeah, it's more like in subtleties and the bits of writing that kind of bring in that loneliness. So yeah, I'm glad that that does come across.
Yeah, 'cause it's pretty clear. Obviously, you've got the classic looking out the window shot where you're looking out the window. But the
Yeah.
stuff that's so like I won't say exaggerated, and I don't mean this in a negative way, but some almost like B movie quality, whimsy. Even the dream sequence is very funny. You know, his hair overflops, the letters. That scene. I watched it with my partner, and she said they must have took ages to shoot that because we're probably laughing their heads off. You know, but you still get that loneliness theme that she's. You don't know anything about it, but I think you let the audience assume a lot. She's obviously, does she live with her mum? Is that her mother in the
Yes, that's so
yeah, you know, so that's quite restraining, and obviously what happens at the end we find out, but it's all related, isn't it? That loneliness, probably trying to find herself.
yeah, encapsulates like the loneliness, the feeling of being stagnant and lost, not knowing where to turn, and not knowing what's ahead. So yeah, that's I wouldn't say that that's something that was in like the front of my mind, but that's really interesting, and I think that really fits well with what the film came to
Yeah,
be.
that's what I picked up real quickly. So real, because I'm a bit of a film connoisseur, I'm a bit of a yeah. Anyway, a bit of a nerd. But there was one where the phone buzzes, and that's probably the most social interaction that she has out with the outside world, and she doesn't really answer it. It's just like so. That was a really interesting cue. I don't know if that was intentional, just like a little peek to the outside world, but she wasn't. She was more very internal, introverted
Yeah, I
type of
definitely
scenario.
interesting you say about the phone because I feel like something that I was the reason the phone part was quite important to me was because I think a lot of people that I know me personally, struggle with how intense being on your phone can be and the need to be like constantly available. And I think that's quite an intense feeling when it can feel a bit overwhelming. So I think, yeah, sometimes I think phones and yeah, being constantly available is quite an overwhelming thing, and especially when you're not feeling 100% like comfy in yourself and what you're doing, it's also hard to know what everyone else is doing and deal with that. So I think, yeah, she's not seen to be on her phone very much. And obviously when her phone does buzz, it's her mum as well. So it's really showing that like, yeah, the lack of space and the lack of boundaries, perhaps.
Yeah, and she's surrounded by like retro, childlike, arty things, which tells you a lot about the character. Maybe she's tried new things, she's arty, she can't decide. So you've even with little dialogue, you don't explain anything, but you say a lot about the character, and you want I think I don't know if you wanted the audience to make those assumptions, but I certainly did. You know, I think we all know somebody like that. You know, I'm a bit like that. I'm a bit scatty and little guitars everywhere and things like
Yeah,
that.
that was definitely important to me to have that, like the visualization of like she's trying lots of different things, and she probably kind of, in my head it was she's trying all these things and she thinks that she's crap at them all, so she just kind of loses faith and is like, why, like what's next. So yeah, I guess it is, yeah, that sort of thing of just trying different things and yeah, getting annoyed at yourself, but then also realizing that like you're okay, it's fine, you can keep trying new things, that's fine.
I think a lot of people relate to it at some point in your life, either when you're a teenager or in your 30s, and you don't really know what to do in your day or with your life. You know, I think it scopes all that. I'm going to come to inspirations in a minute, but I was going to go back to Lucy and just sort of ask Lucy, what was your role as producer then? What part did you play in getting this film out there?
Well, let's have a think. I mean, it's funny that the film has so many themes of kind of like isolation and loneliness and kind of like not knowing your place, because the actual making of the film couldn't have been more different than that. Like
Right.
it was like the biggest group effort in the world. Like I actually feel so lucky to have worked on a film where there was so much faith and so much belief and so much camaraderie in just making the vision come to life, because obviously the film's very visual and, as you say, like it's super whimsy, and so there was a lot of elements about bringing the film to life that were maybe a bit more custom and a bit more niche than a typical drama. So for example, like half the costumes were handmade, half the product design was half made. There's like a giant mural in the living room scene that was entirely hand painted. The song from the credits was made bespoke for the film. The lyrics even kind of like relate to what the film is about. Like everything was so fine tuned, and that came from so many different excellent minds working on it. And so for me, my ride as a producer was pretty damn easy, because I was working with a team of people who were just working at the top of their game, and being able to bring these people together underneath this one project was just thrilling, because everyone bounced off each other so much. If someone in prod design had like this amazing idea, it would trickle down into costume. Someone costume, it would trickle down to like even the script. Like there were things that were happening on the fly with the scripts and it wasn't like anything huge, because a lot of the script is very intentional, but if something just felt right on the day from any point of view, it would blend and mesh and work and transform into what the final product came to be. So yeah, I mean, it was a real delight to produce it, because it was so amazing to work with so many people who were just had so much faith in the project, to be honest.
That's good. Yeah, I think it shows in the film as well, because it's a very warm film, even though there's a slight sad undertone there, I think, but obviously she's happy at the end. But
Exactly, yeah. And
well,
I
Cass,
quite like the
so go
film
on.
is called Nice Package, because obviously, it's a double entendre, like it's a very nice package. And there's a lot of nice packages in the film. But to be honest, I think the whole film is a nice package. Like me and Fran say this, that the whole film is custom made. Like it's wrapped up in a little bow for the audience to watch and feel Alexa's pain, feel her journey, feel her frustration, but also feel her excitement and her growth and her dreams come to life. So it's a nice package in the way that you want it to be, but it's also a nice package in the way that we're giving a gift to our
Yeah.
audience.
That's right. I mean, it could have worked in black and white as well in a way because of that. But yeah, the colors obviously, yeah, absolutely. And it's really interesting you say all that about the song and everything was. It's almost like a big tapestry, and you've like sewn it all together yourself. So everything is, so it's really great to hear that. That's what we want audiences to know when they watch this, that everything was, like you say, hand painted.
Exactly. And I think as well, like in this industry, like especially with your festival and everything that you do, there's so much focus on a final product. And so it's so amazing when people can champion what happens behind the scenes as well. Because like even when we discuss things like funding, like you're very lucky if you get funding from external partners. All of Nice Package was entirely self-funded. Everything was just out of people's pockets. And I think it's really important to champion that, like making art for the pure joy and the pure like devotion of making art. Like I think Fran herself put so much work into this film, so much work and money into this film. And so to have a final product and see it get picked up by such incredible festivals like yours, it is just a testament to that drive of indie filmmaking, I think.
Well, that's very nice. I appreciate saying that. Ivy, do you have a question?
Yeah, I was just curious about, you talk about the budget, the funding, and then you also talk about like the different people that join your team and create the clothes, all the DIYs. Do you think the budget influence your creative choices? Does it constrain your creative choices?
What do you think, Fran?
I don't know if it did. I feel like I'm really happy with what I managed to do because it wasn't a big budget at all. I want to say I'm estimating like 3K, but I think considering what we managed to achieve with the money that we had, obviously like the location was like probably the biggest expense, and then the costumes and things like that, materials that you have to get, all those sorts of things add up, and paying our actors and things like that. But I think considering how much we had, I don't think, I don't know. What do you think, Lucy? Because I don't think so. I think obviously like there were extra things that we could have had we had more money and all that sort of thing. But I don't think anything was compromised. I'm quite happy with what we managed to do with the budget.
It's funny. I think we were super crafty with the money. I think like we talk about like things being handmade. There's a balance there between handmade because it's like cool as hell, and handmade because maybe we can't afford the other version.
Yeah.
And like with like our catering and stuff, like it was awesome because we just had like our exec producer was making dinner for us. We even had like friends of friends who were making like lunches for us. Like the team effort was really strong there. Like I actually think one of the biggest expenses was and one of the biggest stresses of pre-production actually, trying to find that bloody surfboard. Oh my lord.
Yeah.
You wouldn't think that was a thing that was so hard, but oh my god, yes it was. That's so true. I didn't even think about that.
Well, it was a nice surfboard as well. It's like
everywhere.
something.
It's a nice surfboard. But I think you can tell, like with a surfboard, you can tell if it's like not, if it's like a toy, like plastic. You could just tell. So yeah, we were so lucky when we found that, because it's so like retro and lovely. But yeah, that was a proper task. There was a moment there where I was like, we're gonna have to rewrite. He's not gonna have a surfboard. It's not gonna be funny. Oh god, but no, I'm so glad we found one.
Yeah, you didn't have enough budget for shampoo as well, which was a shame.
yeah, lots of it.
So yeah, just we'll wrap up shortly, but just I suppose the big one is for me is it inspirations, movies or books or something from your own life from childhood. What inspired this? I mean, I've got my own ideas with film, but what inspired this look and this feel of this film?
Definitely, yeah. So I think for the look, it's very much those like Technicolor movies. So The Love Witch was a really big inspiration for the red tones and the Technicolor feel. And also The Babysitter. Oh no, just Babysitter, sorry. That was a big inspiration. And obviously you've got like elements of like Wizard of Oz in there, but yeah, it was genuinely just like an ode to like all of those like Technicolor movies that so many of us love. But that's kind of like more the style, I guess. As for the actual concept and the script, it simply came from my frustration with delivery drivers and their inability to like ring the doorbell, or like they put your package in the bin and then like it goes like you lose it, or they don't ring at all, or they ring and they run away. Like it was from a few weeks of that, and I was like, right, this is annoying. What can I do about it? So that was kind of the inspiration, and then I kind of like brought in more of like the frustration elements to it that felt a bit more personal. But yeah, that's probably right.
The delivery driver never a love interest, is it? It's always some grumpy person who can't wait to get your signature and bugger off.
Yeah, so flip it on its head. He's a dream boy. Why not?
Absolutely relate to that. Oh my gosh, yeah. Just a couple of questions because of the festival. It's, this is quite a biggie, but like challenges being women in the industry is a big one. I know it's changed a lot. I mean, how do you feel? I mean, for both of you, if you don't answer this, how do you feel that has changed? Not just the Me Too movement, but just in the last 15 years, there's definitely been a shift of more female-centric film. Not just stories about women, but like yourselves behind the camera. How do you think that's changed, and what challenges you faced sort of recently with that in mind?
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting one. I think it depends on kind of the tribe you create around yourself. Like, I've been so lucky to work on projects where it has been a very holistic kind of way of working, and everyone's there to support one another, and there are females in heads of departments and big roles who are kind of like having as much say as anyone else. But I mean, unfortunately, there's still times when I'm on commercial shoots, or when I used to work in kind of like film marketing and advertising, where it definitely still felt like a man's voice was heard more or more in charge. And so it's still that age-old thing of being a outspoken female is a bad thing, or being an outspoken female assigns you with characteristics that a man wouldn't have. So you're difficult to work with, or like you're too loud, or you're too argumentative or too emotional. And for that, I think, please label me as all those things. I'd much rather be that person than someone who sat there and didn't express my point of view. And the advice to anyone that I would that's dealing with the same thing in this industry, be the most annoying, the loudest version of yourself you can be, because that's who should be on set. And if anyone tells you that's not the way to be, they're probably not the type of person you want to be working with anyway.
I like that, like standing up to bullies in a sense. But yeah, that's a really, really great perspective. I love that. Don't know if Fran, you want to add to that?
Yeah, I guess I think, but yeah, 100% agree with everything Lucy said. But I do think that it's great that since I've started making films, I've noticed that there are a lot of spaces being created for female filmmakers and things like that. So a lot of the festivals that I went through with my first film, I really noticed that because it was also a female-led film, and there were a lot of females behind the scenes as well. It really felt like there was a space for that, and people were excited to have it be a part of their festival and talk about it and things like that. So I definitely feel like there are many more spaces being opened up for that as well. I see a lot of different companies doing like script competitions specifically for women and things like that. So that's really nice. So yeah, I definitely think that I've noticed that there are things opening, but I mean, there's always opportunity for more growth, I think, in this industry.
Yeah. My last question is an easy one, I suppose. What's next for both of you? Working together again? Do you have something lined up? If you can't talk about it, that's fine also.
I mean, I'd absolutely love to work together again. We were literally just on the phone about half an hour ago talking about new projects. So there definitely will be something going on. As for me, I'm currently in Vietnam right now.
Oh wow!
So live from Vietnam.
Didn't expect
Um,
that.
yeah. There was actually a lizard on the floor before. I should have like picked it up and held it up to say hi. Um, but when I get back to London, I'm working on a new short by writer-director Olivia Loader. Her film Hallowed was a horror film last year that did pretty well in specifically kind of like horror festivals, but I'm working with her on more of a female-led thriller. So very excited to jump back into that when I get back to London.
Superb.
Yeah, and yeah, like Lucy said, I am so desperate to work with her again. Honestly, we finished Nice Package and then she went traveling and I was so upset. I was like, how did you? But when she comes back, I'm sure there'll be something bubbling. But other than that, I've got I co-created a web series, comedy web series called Do We Eat Him, which is on YouTube now. I created it with some really good friends of mine, and I also act in it as well, obviously. God.
Obviously, yeah.
Yeah. But it's like one of the most fun projects I've ever done. I act in it alongside my best friend Kelsey, who also was the one who did the amazing artwork in our film as well. She's an amazing artist.
Oh.
But yeah, we're in that together, and the whole show is kind of just about our friendship, but in the space of these different characters. So yeah, we were really looking forward to like potentially doing another season of that and like seeing where that goes in the future. So yeah, that's like the other side project that's happening at the moment on our side. Nice Package Festival One.